What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Roman Reigns versus Tyson Fury, more AEW stars asked for their releases, a Hall of Famer returning for one last match at Mania, Braun Strowman humbled, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and a non-wrestling channel, Incredible. But now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Now, first story looks at Roman Reigns versus Tyson Fury. The top of today's news is a report that Triple H wants boxing great Tyson Fury back in the ring. The WWE's chief creative officer recently discussed the Gypsy King's future, saying, "I think Tyson Fury is chomping at the bit to get into the ring. The question is, which ring will he get into? Is it going to be the boxing ring, or is it going to be a WWE ring? We were just together in Cardiff, we had a long talk about it. He's as enamored as ever in wanting to do this with us. I think he knows he's got a few big fights left in him in the boxing world. I think he's going to capitalize on those fights, as you're hearing." Although Helmsley realizes Fury may want to box in a few more bouts, he admitted, "Selfishly, I want him to come work with us. Also, selfishly, I want to see those fights. I hope he knocks those out, and I hope he stays interested, because I do think with the dedication and the drive he has that he could do something special with us as well." And who would the WWE have Fury face? Well, Dave Meltzer commented on Wrestling Observer that the WWE wants to pit Fury against Roman Reigns. The question, of course, is whether Fury would be willing to do the JOB against the Tribal Chief, and if not, whether the WWE would book the match. Would you guys like to see this? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, the main event booked for Full Gear. Now, according to Cage Side Seats' Rumor Report column, it's expected that the main event of AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view in November will be Jon Moxley vs MJF for the AEW World Championship. This comes at no surprise, as in light of MJF winning All Out's Casino Ladder match and earning a casino chip he can use for an AEW World Championship match at any AEW sanctioned event. Meltzer commented on this week's Observer that Moxley will defend the belt against Hangman Adam Page on the 18th October Dynamite, which airs on a Tuesday that week due to baseball playoffs. That particular episode is airing in Moxley's hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio, which should make for a robust crowd. Next up, more AEW stars asked for releases. Now, there's a story making the rounds now that Malachi Black wasn't the only AEW star that asked for his release. Dave Meltzer is reporting on the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer that when Paul Levesque took over from Vince McMahon, WWE contacted a number of former WWE talents that were working there that either had left on their own or that Vince McMahon had fired. Black was not the only person that asked for his release at the time. Others did not ask for their release and were happy with AEW and contacted management, which led to Mega Parrick, head of legal, writing a letter threatening WWE for interference in contracts. Now, it's unclear what's next for Black, as he said he isn't done with wrestling, but he does need time off to deal with some personal matters. It was reported earlier AEW issued a conditional release to Black, which likely means that AEW won't let him work for any other major promotion, i.e. the WWE. Nonetheless, as Dave Meltzer noted in his discussion of the Malachi situation, the Black case is notable because there's no reason for AEW or WWE to sign talent to long-term contracts at high dollar guaranteed amounts other than to make sure they don't leave for a long time. But the question also becomes, is it good for a company to have talent that doesn't want to be there for many years? Right now, the answers to all this is how Tony Khan will navigate the situation going forward. One of the biggest questions in this story is who asked for their release and who was content in AEW. Next up, a WWE Hall of Famer returning for one last match at Mania. It looks like fans might see a WWE legend return at WrestleMania 39 to wrestle one last match. No, we're not talking about The Rock, although the WWE is hoping he'll pop in for a match with Roman Reigns. No, this is WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle, who appeared on the Wrestling Show to say he loved to wrestle one more match at the Showcase of the Immortals. Angle noted that while he thinks the match is unlikely to happen, he has a good idea how he would like to see things play out, essentially working with an opponent who can carry him to at least a 4-star match, one of them being John Cena. I still think that he is possibly still in his prime, so I would definitely say John Cena, and the reason for that is I'm 53 years old, and I'm not the same athlete I was when I was 33, and when I decided to retire, it was because I lost a step. I didn't want the fans to remember me as the person that was in the ring when I returned to WWE. I wanted them to remember me as the person who was in his prime. Angle said he wants fans watching his final match to see the Kurt Angle they remembered from his heyday. The WWE's first Olympic gold medal winner shared an example of why he wants an opponent who can elevate him. Ric Flair did not pick an older guy to wrestle, he picked Jay Lethal, and there's a reason for that. Jay Lethal is going to make him look good because he's younger and he's in his prime, and that's what I would have wanted if I came back and wrestled. I want a Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins or even a John Cena. Those are the names that I would pick. Angle also discussed how he's on the mend following double knee replacement surgery, saying, "I'm feeling well, I'm coming out of it pretty good. It's been about 3.5 months and I'm almost fully recovered. Usually you don't have a full recovery for 9 to 10 months, but I've been able to bounce back pretty quickly." Now you may recall that Angle wanted to work his retirement match against John Cena, but Vince McMahon had him wrestle Baron Corbin at Wrestlemania 35 with Angle dropping the match. Would you guys like to see Kurt Angle in for one last match? If so, who would it be against? Next up, Hunter's expansion plans. Triple H has already made some colossal changes to WWE, including ditching NXT 2.0 for a new and improved version of the original black and gold brand. However, that's just part of the Cerebral Assassin's plans for NXT. The game recently spoke on the Lad Bible TV, revealing his bold vision for NXT. So NXT Europe, NXT Australia, NXT South Africa, South America, Mexico, we'll eventually build that into a global system that will lead to almost a World Cup scenario. Now this isn't the first time that there's been talk about expanding NXT into franchises across the globe, as prior to the pandemic, the WWE looked to be building NXT rosters in several international markets, but the Corona apocalypse put a halt to that. Now that the WWE is back on the road and Triple H is running things, he sees terrific things ahead for NXT. The World Cup finals for NXT will one year be in London, the next year may be Mexico City, and all the while really what you're doing is building this fan base for college football while you're building stars for the major leagues, which is Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania, right? Now it's obvious Triple H has major plans for expanding the WWE. The WWE's already had a dynamic fan base, and the company has made many deals to expand into international markets thanks to co-CEO Nick Khan. Triple H explained how he sees things expanding through NXT. In India right now, we are the second biggest sport in India outside of cricket. It's massive already, but imagine the scale that we have a brand on the ground of native Indian people having their own brand, and one of them branches out and goes to Raw or SmackDown, headlines WrestleMania. It's game changing. And finally, Braun Strowman humbled. Braun Strowman is back in WWE, but he had quite the wake-up call in 2021 when he found out he was being released. The Monster Among Men recently spoke with Corey Graves on the After the Bell podcast, recalling what happened and how it happened. "I was making breakfast at 9 o'clock in the morning and I got the phone call. Hey, sorry, we have bad news. Due to budget cuts, we're initiating 90 days and then your contracts will be terminated." I was just speechless. I think all I said was thank you and I just hung up the phone. I was just like, literally, the F? Yeah, and this was it. It definitely sent me to a bad place for a little bit, but I know that everything in life happens for a reason and everything is a test. Strowman, who returned to WWE on 5th September, said he was proud of his work in providing entertainment for people during the pandemic when most entertainment mediums had nothing to offer but reruns. But this made his release even more painful. It was really hard, a real hard pill to swallow. Probably one of the biggest pills I've ever had to swallow in life, and a reality check. It was disheartening to say the least. Stepping up through or at the beginning of the pandemic when other people couldn't come to work and people didn't come to work. Strowman said the only reason he wrestled occasionally for Control Your Narrative promotion was to give back to younger talent, but he now says he'll never wrestle anywhere but in WWE. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.